And good afternoon, racing fans. Welcome to Hawthorne Racecourse as we kick off the start of the 2024 Thoroughbred racing season. Jim Miller and Emily Gullikson joining you live on this beautiful day in the Chicagoland area. Sunny skies, fast track temperatures in the upper 30s. Emily, it's pretty similar to kind of what we dealt with in Vegas last week when we were covering the National Horse Players Championship. The weather wasn't great there. The action was good. It was a lot of fun. It
was a lot of fun. It was a good warm-up for this. I kind of felt like that was good to get ready, get into the swing of things, getting people excited both about our product, the game as a whole. And yeah, it is kind of a nice day outside. As you mentioned, there's some people outside. There's a good crowd downstairs, so a lot of excitement around this track.
A lot of excitement for sure. Fields are good today. We have a nice 9-race card today. We return the 12% takeout on win, place, and show wagers, which is going to be awesome. And I'm going to give you some kudos there. The Place Pick 8 is a wager that's picked up some traction. I've loved the wager. You presented that, said let's go back after it again. And hey, 8% takeout on the Place Pick 8. It's going to be a fun wager too, especially if it gets a couple of days carryover as well.
Yeah, you know, it was really kind of a team effort as far as being in the right environment of just trying to do things that are new and everybody kind of contributing. And yeah, I put in a few tickets. I'm excited about it. I think it's a good bet. Looking forward to talking on Spaces next week. We'll kind of do a seminar with some pro handicappers inside the pylons. Leo, who we talked to at the NHC, and Jason Beam, friend of the show, will come on and talk about that bet in terms of strategy. So I think it's something that can pick up some steam, and yeah, it's a tough one today for sure.
I'm going to be curious to hear what Inside the Pylon says, because he was a little critical of it today on Twitter. So I want to get his insight, because there's nothing wrong with that, because we're always trying to tweak things.
Yeah.
We're always trying to fix things in that. So hey, if there's things that need to be fixed or need to be tweaked, or just strategies that go into it, it's good to hear that input. So you never mind that by any means. And we got a lot of that, good, bad, indifferent from the horse players last week in Vegas. But I'll tell you, the Chicago players had a great run in Vegas last week. One that made the final table, but a lot of players that were able to make the cut line too.
Yeah, they're always dangerous. Mike is another one we talked to on Spaces. He made the final cut. A couple players that qualified in our free tournament, which we have starting today. So good luck to everybody that's taking a shot at that. Free is always an overlay, according to Bruce Meyer, the Oracle. So yeah, taking a swing in there, and well, good chance to get in Vegas.
Think about that. Mike Wilkenina qualified in our free online contest last year for the NHC.
Nick Shrilla too.
Nick Shrilla did too, yeah. And Nick made it to the final table. Mike made it to the final day. They both cashed. They both cashed for good money, and they got in for free. That was the thing that's really cool. We're doing the $100 Benjamins contest, which is taking place every Sunday as well. And if anybody wants to check it out, the new website is up and running as well too. So check that out, HawthorneRacecourse.com. All of the contest info is there, all the wagering info, the post-time gimmick layouts as well. So a lot taking place. The other thing for players, it's a new look program here at Hawthorne as we're working with the daily racing firm here in the Chicagoland area. It's that pocket program. It's easier to carry around. And the thing about the pocket program is this. You have that if you want your basic information, your numbers, your jocks, your trainers. The last 4 running lines are in there. But with working with the daily racing firm, what they've done is they provided an expanded simulcast program, an expanded harness program, and they're selling it for cheaper. So that's the thing too. There's a lot of great information out there. The optics plots are out there for free for Hawthorne each and every day.
And notes. I
spent
hours,
right? Yes.
Hours filling in there, so take advantage of it.
And that's the thing. There's so many resources out there. So whatever it is that works for everybody, make sure you check that out. But we use this program as a nice guide, especially for players that just want to come out for the day and have something just to kind of look to for whatever their handicap and information is. So make sure you check that out, pick it up as well. All right, Emily, 9 races today. The one thing that I know you always ask for when I'm laying out races is, hey, throw a big field at me early in the day. So I did that for you for the opener today.
Thank you.
14, still down to 10 here, but some of these horses are back in tomorrow. But we open things up, 5/8 of a mile, $5,000 claimers in the first. Chris Amy rides a 2 Upbeat Melody. Scratch the 8, the 10, the 13, and the 14. We talked about this coming into the race. Apparently I missed the line on Breaking News because I picked the horse, but I thought it was going to be a much higher price. You're looking at 5-2 right now. It'll probably trickle up a little bit come closer to post time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky horse. I see where you're coming from because the recent form could be a little bit off. The horse has to turn it around, but his last one was at this level. So if you kind of go back through and you think, okay, he's cycling back, he's got a little bit of freshening, he has that back class, he has the numbers, he's competitive at this level, he makes sense in the spot, and that's probably what the public are latching onto. Sometimes too, you know, it's kind of like bait. It's like, oh, you're going to give me this horse at 20 to 1. I'll take that,
Right.
you know. And then you have a logical horse, and again, it's 20 minutes. We could see some shifts. Number 2, Upbeat Melody seems like a very logical type, who I think, you know, lists on the morning line, no arguments there. Pretty solid, has that early speed, which I think is going to be key. It's kind of tough talking about this first race because of the 5 furlongs. You know, these are the type of races that it's horses that are ready to go. It's not necessarily the best horse in the race. It's the best suited to today's conditions to run their race. And we'll get a little bit more information after the first race to see how things are playing.
Sure, and the one thing we saw for the horses that wintered here in the Chicagoland area, they had about 4 weeks of training after the harness meet before the thoroughbred meet, but you're seeing a lot of these horses coming back from New Orleans, and it's a very similar track set up there. It's a long stretch in New Orleans too, but like you mentioned, fitness is going to be the key. It's a lot of 5/8 of a mile races early, but it will stretch out to 5.5, 3/4, 6.5. We'll still have some of those 5/8 sprints here and there, but early on in the meet, you'll see a lot of those shorter sprints as horses get prepared and fit. But it's a fun race, nice way to kick things off. A tough way for the place pick 8.
Absolutely. And for the tickets, I ended up using the 7 in here a little bit too. Again, it's kind of not one of those things where I think it's like necessarily the best horse, but maybe just kind of gets that right trip, and just trying to be in that spot, especially creative in the first leg, something that might just not be so obvious to the public.
Right. Trainer Jose Rodriguez had a really good meet last year too, and was kind of under the radar, so definitely worth looking to there in the opener. Race number 2 today, $15,000 maidens in this spot. Again, 5/8 of a mile. Put Orlando Mojica on the 1, Crown Royal Kid. Scratch the 6, send him down the road. So that leaves only one Ravelli entrant in here, which is Crown Royal Kid. So I guess that's the one that you have to start out with in this spot.
Yeah, I mean, you know, playing here, even me being kind of newer to the area, you know, these horses can't come out live. Scratched 1. I think Mojica was actually named on that other one, right? So he'll pick up the mount. A little bit unknown. I might have seen this horse. I'm not sure. When I see him in the paddock, I'll be able to know, because if it's the horse I think it is, he has kind of extreme markings, but certainly live, certainly capable. And that new face in here that can certainly pop up. But I think you and I kind of went to the same horse who has a little bit of form in number 8, My Tennis Shoes. I like that horse as well. His trip 2 back was better than look at the fairgrounds. He had the poor weather conditions last out, had some traffic, and another barn that's more than capable. Yeah,
Olaf Hernandez had himself a nice meet here last year as well. He rides My Tennis Shoes for Elias Lopez. That is the one that I liked also. And again, just a little bit of a fitness edge over some others. First timers from the inside, you know you have to get away from the gate, so we'll see how that unfolds in race number 2. Race number 3 brings back a trainer who had some success here last year, but has a large contingent of horses this year. 60 horses from the barn of John Arnett on the backside here at Hawthorne, as we have $5,000 claimers in the 3rd. They go 5/8 of a mile. Emily's got the one robust in this spot. I laid the horse at 7 to 5. The form is tremendous, but you're only 1 for 17 lifetime in the win column, so that's the biggest question mark with this runner.
Yeah, no, I think maybe the recency edge. You know, I could have been a little bit critical on him because that last race I thought he had to work hard to get the win, but I like that he's had 36 days since. If he came back on shorter rest, I would definitely try to go elsewhere. But you mentioned the record. Maybe you want a little bit of coverage in there. The horse that I wanted to get creative with was the 5, Minnesota Moon. He's going to cut back. He's only done it one other time, but just might be the right move. Takes that drop in class and just needs to find the right group. His one start back on January 11th this year, he was chasing wide, so has some fitness, and that race has held form. So I gave that one a look.
And much better races here at Hawthorne.
Yes.
This is a track that the horse definitely prefers. The horse is going to be a little bit of a price. Laid the horse at 10 to 1 in the morning line. I could see Minnesota Moon being in the mix as well in the 3rd. 4th race, we get maidens here, and it's cool to get some 2-turn races early on. When you see those 2-turn races fill in the first few weeks of the meet, you definitely want to use them. It's a mile 70 yards here in the 4th, and with this field of maidens, I was surprised we got a field of 10 to line up in this spot, and I didn't know what to do favoritism-wise. I laid the 3 as the favorite, kind of a lukewarm choice at 7 to 2, because the first start wasn't great, but it is Larry Ravelli, who you know is going to take some money on the Chicago circuit. This is a really wide open bunch in this spot.
It is a tough race, because I think you do have to start there, certainly capable. The number, even though it wasn't that great of a race at first out, number-wise, it's not far off some of the others, so you could project and move forward and already kind of being right in the mix. If you are looking at those other horses that are saying, okay, we've kind of seen what they can do, I want that new face, that would be the horse. But I think maybe in this case, some of those horses that have the foundation could have an advantage. A horse like Regimental, number 9, you know, he's got the foundation. Actually, his dirt races aren't bad. You know, he's coming off the turf. A lot of those turf races were sneaky good following the trips. Slightly shorter distance. He does have some distance limitations. And I gave a look at both Manny Perez runners. I think, you did as well. Wolf Hunter is probably the more obvious. But the 10 money
Agent, yeah.
He's had some subtle trips along the way too, and I think maybe we haven't seen the best from him. I feel like I picked him a lot last year, but there was just always kind of in tough spots. He took the spot in the Hawthorne Derby,
right.
and he was just kind of in the wrong time and place. So maybe coming back this year, we'll see.
And Glockenberg LLC had a good meet last year with Manny Perez. Their horses have been in here for a few weeks, so they've been able to get out over the racetrack, get a work over the racetrack as well. Like you mentioned, both Money Agent and Wolf Hunter ran in the Hawthorne Derby last year. They both held their own against a pretty decent horse in Act a Fool as well. Defiant Malice stretching out as a horse that I thought could be a factor. Again, Arnett for Felix. It just comes down to that fitness edge for me too. There's 5 or 6 in there.
Yeah, you could make a case for any, and none would surprise. You wouldn't look back and say, oh, I would have never had that horse. I just didn't want to go deep enough.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% in that spot. Race 5, Illinois maiden allowance runners go 5/8 of a mile. Chris Amy on the 1. A whole lot of loot in here. Looking up and down this field of 10. Good Apple's a horse that you figure could be a factor in the second start for Block, but whole lot of loot debuting in this spot who could also be a factor in here. I did go to Good Apple, but there's a few changes, change in surface, change in track conditions, change in venue. A whole lot of loot is going to take a lot of action, but again, inside draw, big field, just going to have to get away in good order.
Yeah, I think that this would be the time, though. He's got those strong works coming in. Again, it's not one I have seen work. I don't know if you've seen this one work out there, but being a 4-year-old, being a state-bred runner, they have the horse fit, they have the horse ready to go, and just kind of seems like the right time. I mean, he's 4, right? Yep. So it's like they've been forced to be patient with this type of horse. And again, the same thing with the Chris Block runner, second-time starter, can certainly improve, finding those changes, gets the fitness, comes on this circuit where they fit. I think it's kind of those two tend to stand out. The other horse just worth a mention, I think, is number 4,
yes,
Hand Over My Heart. Yep. Lightly Raced Sales upside. He's going to have to take on older in his sophomore debut, so he's 1 start out, but if he had a stronger ride last out, he was winning, and he wouldn't be eligible for this condition, so he's definitely worth a mention.
And you switch over to Alexis Centeno in the saddle, was the meet's leading rider here last year. He had a very good year last year, and he takes over with Hand Over My Heart, who also gets Lasix for the first time there in the 5th. 6th race starts at 50 cent, late pick 4, 5/8 of a mile, starter optional 13.5, company in the 6th. You get a field of 9 in this spot. First Kitten was the horse I laid kind of as a lukewarm choice there, 3-1. I liked First Kitten here. I know the horse loves this Hawthorne strip. It's Centeno from Mirage, who had a very good meet. I thought the horse was going to be tough. Yeah, Madeline Bell from the Ravelli barn, a horse popular at the claim box too. That's another one that I think at least merits a look. Is that kind of the route that you started with in here? Yeah,
I mean, I absolutely respect First Kitten for all the reasons that you mentioned, but one of the things that I think, is worth talking about with Madeline Bell is the difference in the claiming price this year, because I think that's that could be an edge in the spot, right? They claimed her for 25. She's in for higher than what this claiming is. So it's like, okay, even if she gets claimed, even if you pick up a little bit of a check, it's still kind of one of those like good business decisions. So I don't know if you want to talk more about that, because I think it's an interesting change for this year.
So what we're doing is we're allowing horsemen to protect their Illinois breds if they choose to do so in claiming races. So in claiming races, if you have an Illinois bred horse, you can run for a tag 50% higher than the claiming price. And what that allows you to do is protect that horse, because there's not a ton of Illinois bred horses here, but there are a lot of good ones. So at any claiming level, you can run that horse for 50% higher, and you're seeing a lot of horsemen do it. So on the lower levels, it provides you a little bit more value for that Illinois bred racehorse, especially if you're racing against open company. When we get to the higher levels, like an optional 40, they may not want to run for 40,000, but they may run for 60,000 and then still have that ability to run for the stake too. So it's some of the changes we're looking at. We will note that throughout the course of the meet, because some may choose not to, some will, and this one does. And hey, at 20,000, if you were to win this race, you get the Illinois bonus and the purse, and you get claimed, you're doing okay there too.
Exactly. So I think that was clever. I think that was kind of a clever move. But that, that's another tough race. I mean, First Kitten, I think you have to respect her. Dessert First, she comes in this race with current form. She ran a good race last year, better than Looked Everett, behind Wilma Man Killer, aka Emily Ticket Killer. I mean, she was so tough, and like this horse ran really good behind her at that time. That, again, one of the other tough races on the card that you can look at a lot of different horses.
Yeah, race 7 today, looking at this race, maiden 62.50, 5/8 of a mile, field of 11 in this spot. Emily, This is a tough race. Gold Oak, the horse I laid as the choice in here. You can go a few different ways. I ended up going on top to Anna After Midnight. Who'd you look to in the 7th?
This is a race that I'm kind of getting a little bit stabby with. I think of the logical horses, I'd use the 1, Jocelyn. I think she makes a lot of sense in here, another live barn. But 5 Arrington is the one I gave a look to. She's a longtime maiden. She's had some reservations, but she's run well fresh. She's run well on this circuit. She's run well intended on this circuit. She had a good effort sprinting, which she finished in a blanket. A lot of good things there that maybe just is the right time. And then number 8, Baba's Girl. I know this is a little bit of a stab, but she's coming in from Oakland Park. She's running in those tougher races. She was completely overmatched, so she finds those changes. She's just been keeping up her fitness. So I'm kind of following that barn, because if that horse fits, then there's going to be one I'm going to like a lot more in the next race.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge, there was no huge favorite for me anywhere there. I thought that was a spread race as well. 8th race, 5/8 of a mile, $5,000 claimers in a race number 8. Scratch the 2, Can't Be Touched in here. Scratch the 9, Bally Baby. Still 10. Lily's Woofy on the inside at 5-2. I love this horse today. This was my best bet on the card. Was that the horse that you liked as well?
Oh, I think this is the spot for her. So I think that's probably the right move. This seems like the right thing. She takes the drop. She has the eligibility in order to compete here. She's been looking for that first win since 2022, so I think the connections are doing right. I gave the horse the 2 a little bit of a look. Play 20, I think she can fire fresh. She's got early speed in there. And then I talked about Baba's Girl in the other race, so then that would key off number 5, Miss Windy Slew. She's another one that's been exiting the Oakland Park meet, just tougher races. She's going back to closing week when she ran on September 3rd. She ran behind First Kitten, Samarita, Long Tall Woman. Those horses
all good horses, yeah.
Yeah, and they all came back and won next out, so it's like, I'm not going to let her sneak away at a big price in there.
No, I don't blame you there. And then in the finale, high 5 wagering in the last. No jackpots anymore this year, so no jackpot high 5. It's just a high 5. No jackpot pick 6. It's just a pick 6 this year. $7,500 claimers, 5/8 of a mile. Scratch the 6, Tap It Sam. Field of 11 in the finale. Emily, I think I used 6 horses in my late pick 4 ticket in here. Baseball Politics, I laid as the favorite. You can go so many different ways in this spot.
Yes, absolutely. I think Baseball Politics is very logical. I like Bernie Lomax a little bit. I listened to your show with Howard, so I kind of know where you guys are going in here. The horse that I think is also interesting here is number 3, Crankshaft, because he's got early speed. Those inside posts, they do okay at the shorter distance. So if he's got that early speed and he's fit, he could be really, really, really tough. A lot of those horses that are coming from the outside maybe are going to get a little bit wide. So I gave him an upgrade in there, but it's another one that, if you are alive in those tickets, you want to have some coverage.
All right, so that's how we see things for the 9 races today. We're going to shift back over to race number 1. This is a fun day. This is a fun card. We're taking a look at the paddock here for race number 1, Emily, and looking at the horses in the walking ring for race number 1. These are $5,000 claimers, Condition Company. In the first, we offer Win, Play, Show. Again, 12% takeout there. Exacta, Trifecta, Superfecta, Double, Pick 3, Pick 5, and the start of the 8% takeout, Place Pick 8. Emily, you're looking at the board right now and you see him in the walking ring. Let's start with the 2 horse right over there. That is that 5-2. That's Upbeat Melody, or you'll see making the turn in a second. Upbeat Melody, again, the horse that I laid as the favorite and currently does sit right at that 5-2 favoritism.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Has early speed, the early speed on the inside, fits at this level, has consistent form and speed figures. Could also be maybe some intent. They had considered running in some races at Turfway Park. The one thing I did just notice as they walk by are the front wraps that are added today, which is a change. This horse has run in front wraps in the past, but not as of late, not since entering this barn. So that is just one thing that is worth noting.
Yeah, one thing you're going to notice too, looking at our paddock this year, it's a little bit brighter. We've repainted the paddock, we've redone the lighting in there, just make things a little bit brighter for everything down there, so it's a much better visual. And overall, I agree. Upbeat Melody just took a hit down there, currently to 3-2 on the board. The 5 horse right there in the walking ring is Breaking News. That's my top pick in this spot. This one at 7-2, kind of bouncing along a little bit. One of 2 in here from the barn of Hugo Rodriguez. We both said if this horse is on its game, the horse could definitely be a factor in here. Yeah,
I opened up with that early money. He's on the drift right now. His form at the fairgrounds, it wasn't super competitive, but it wasn't bad by any means. His race back in November, that was a better than look race, a good effort in that second place finish. And then since, he's kind of been up close to paces, he's been wide. And we saw with some of the Hugo Rodriguez runners in the past, Gray Streak, that was kind of the same angle as a horse that didn't have a lot of form when he was running at Turfway. He came over here, popped with a big effort. So this one looks extremely live, getting back to his best efforts. His win at the condition in his most recent start was at Horseshoe Indianapolis, but similar 5K condition claiming race.
And then lastly, we'll touch on that 3-horse that just passed us. That's One Last Hand. Julio Felix aboard for Jim Watkins. Jim Watkins had a really good meet here last year too. Splits his stable between here and Fairmount Park, but this is a horse that comes in off a little bit of a layoff, but does have a race this year. Raced at Turfway Park in that last out, showed a little bit of speed before giving way. It's going to be the first trip here at Hawthorne, but Emily, taking a little bit of action, sitting right at that 8-1 morning line, and I think that's probably about where the horse figures too.
Yeah, he definitely has a look in here for those reasons. Having the live barn, maybe the 5 furlongs is going to be a little bit short for him, but yeah, you can see Jim Watkins right there.
Yep.
Certainly capable. He's in aggressive hands, and this is a barn that likes to get horses out on the front end.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun race to kick off the meet. Field of 10 for the opener as they're getting ready to head out right now. Win, play, show, exacta, try, super, double, pick 3, pick 5, and place pick 8 wager. And they're walking on the track right now as we kick off the 2024 Thoroughbred season. Good luck.
Coming on the track for the Saturday opener, they'll go 5 furlongs on a fast track. Scratch 8, Russian to win. Scratch 10, Christmas Present. Scratch 13, Ali Anabi. Scratch 14, Ferocity. Field of 10, Rider Change 2, Upbeat Melody. Make the jockey Chris Amy. No overweights in this race. We do have some overweights in the later races. I'll go over those right after the post parade of this first race. Pretty here they are. 1 Risky Boy. The rider is Rashawn Blanche. 2 Upbeat Melody. Note the jockey change. Chris Amy to ride number 2. 3 One Last Hand. Julio Felix aboard. Number 4 Son of Grace. Emmanuel Giles. 5 Breaking News. Alexis Centeno. Here's 6 Dyna Blue with Diego Sanchez. 7 Alpine Ghost. Frank Reyes riding. Number 8 Lyrical Poet. Luis Colon. 10 is Scratched. 11 Hinks Paladin. Corey Orm. Number 12 Greeley's Ice. The rider is Yoel Neves. 13 and 14 are scratched. They'll be at the gate in 3 minutes for the first track fast at Hawthorne. Here, racing fans, are your overweights for the balance of the card. In the third race, number 7, McVicker, will now carry 3 pounds over the program weight. The fifth race, number 7, Best Man Speech, will now carry 1 pound over the program weight. Seventh race, number 7, Anna After Midnight, will now carry 1 pound over the program weight. Number 11, Glitter Bomb, will carry 1 pound over the program weight. Those are your overweights on the program. 2 minutes for the first at Hawthorne Track Fast. Racing fans, little time remains for you to wager on today's first race here at Hawthorne, which features rolling doubles, rolling pick threes. Start of the pick five and our new wager. Start of the $1 place pick eight. We do thank you for joining us wherever it may be across the betting network. We have cool temperatures here in the Chicagoland area. Track will be fast all day long under clear skies. They're moving towards the gate for race one. If you missed it earlier, we do have a strong tailwind in the home stretch of over 20 miles per hour. Close to starting time, less than a minute. Racing fans are at the starting gate for today's first race here at Hawthorne, first of 9 on the opening day program. Our racing schedule, Saturdays and Sundays. They're moving into the gate for the first at Hawthorne. Last two to go in will be Breaking News and Greeley's Ice. Waiting for Greeley's Ice. They're all in the gate. They're off. Towards the inside, Risky Boy and Upbeat Melody going out for the lead. From the outside, moving up, Lyrical Poet. Still further out, Hinks Paladin. Breaking News came away 5th. Greeley's Ice out there 6th. Alpine goes 7th. It's a 3-length gap to Dyna Blue in 8th. In 9th along the inside, One Last Hand. Trailing the field, Son of Grace. They've got 3 furlongs to go. On the on the inside, it's Risky Boy. Moving up on the outside comes Hinks Paladin. Moving up in between horses now comes Lyrical Poet. They straighten away for the final 3/16. In between horses on a short lead as Hinks Paladin towards the inside. Risky Boy, here's Breaking News, 3 deep. Dropping back was Lyrical Poet. A late move on the outside by Dyna Blue. Risky Boy fighting back along the rail. Risky Boy has the lead, and Risky Boy will win it by almost 2. Tight photo for second between Breaking News and Hinks Paladin. Dyna Blue was the last closing 4th. Welcome back, everybody. In today's first race, number 1, Risky Boy finished first, 5, Breaking News second, 11, Hinks Paladin third, and 6, Dyna Blue fourth. 1, 5, 11, 6 is posted. It's unofficial. We'll have the running time for you in a moment. Running time 58.41 on the fast track. Returning the unofficial winner, 1, Risky Boy. Risky Boy is owned and trained by Ida Spagnola, ridden to victory by Rashawn Blanche. Today's first race is official. Running time 58.4 when it's official. Prices in a moment. Reminder racing fans, whenever I read prices, they are on track prices. In the exacta 1-5 for $1, $67.50. 50-cent trifecta 1-5-11 pays $389.40. The 20-cent superfecta 1-5-11-6 $1,123.22. Second race, Win Play Show Exacta Trifecta Superfecta starts another daily double, another pick 3, and today's 50-cent early pick 4. Here are the changes in your early pick 4 races. Second race, 1, Crown Royal Kid. Make the jockey Orlando Mojica the weight's okay. Orlando Mojica rides 1, Crown Royal Kid. 4, God, Guns, and Guts. The owner of record is J&N Thoroughbreds, Jose Rodriguez, principal owner. Scratch 6, send him down the road. Scratch 6, send him down the road. Third race, number 7, McVicker carries 1 pound, make that 3 pounds. 7, McVicker carries 3 pounds over the program weight. There are no changes in race 4. Fifth race, number 1, Whole Lotta Loot. Make the jockey Chris Amy the weight's okay. Chris Amy to ride 1, Whole Lotta Loot. 7, Best Man Speech carries 1 pound over the program weight. Number 8, Span. The trainer of record is John Weiss. John Weiss trains 8 Span. Post time in 19 minutes at 3:10. Track is fast. 19 minutes to wager on the early pick 4 in all cases. We urge you to make your selections early. Thank you.